G'day guys, welcome to a special edition of Ask Woodford, episode
20,
because I always forget it's episode 20, a nice even number, 20. Now we have two guests on the show today, one who's already been on and trying to take the show over, Jared Kay. Jared, welcome.
Thank you.
Every time you're on, you seem to get good resounding reception, so welcome back. And also a very special guest, number one 2016 AFL draft pick, Andy McGrath, and Essendon player. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, mate.
Beautiful. And we were quite quick with this. Andy's very busy preparing for a big pre-season period. When do you go back?
November 13 we start up again.
November 13, very good. So if you're an Essendon fan, Andy's trained here. How long have you trained here with Jared for at the start?
Since the start of year 11, so
year 11.
2015.
Yeah.
Start of 2015.
Yeah. So I think a big thing for us was watching, for me, I really didn't even know who you were when you came down. Then kind of you had a real big second half of your top 8 year at Dragons, and it kind of just took you off. And I think a lot of it was to do with the work you did here and with Jared. And I think you're a fantastic ambassador for being an alumni, Jared, as we call it, alumni here. Yeah. Former alumni, and all the boys have come back, which has been good to see. So thank you for coming. Alex, we have a lot of questions, don't we, for Andy?
We do.
So if you want to hit them off.
Yep. All right. First one's from Lachie Kennett. Do you believe hard work or natural talent got you to where you are, and why?
It's a good question, Lachie. It's a mixture of both, I think. To be successful in anything, you have to have, I guess, a baseline of talent, but then talent can only get you so far. So, for my example, talent doesn't get people drafted. I know plenty of people who are good enough footballers to get drafted, but didn't have the work ethic to make it. So, I think it's a combination of both of them, but I'd probably say there's more people in the AFL who work hard to get there than just have the natural talent.
And going on that, when I first met Andy and said, Andy, I'm interested in being involved in your development, he was already a national champion in athletics, so he had that talent. But watching him and his hard work and his determination, both on field and off field, like he said, it's just you got to have both. You got to have everything to get to the top level.
And can I add to that? Can I add to that, or have we got so many questions?
It's your show.
Oh, it is my show. There we go. I think one thing that and all the kids who got drafted, but I'm just talking specifically for Andy. At the end of the day, you can have talent, you can work hard, but at the end of the day, you've got to be. I honestly believe you still have to be a good person. That's the foundation for anything. I honestly believe in that now. Back when I was a kid, I probably didn't, but you still have to be a good person. You can't have your head up your ass. And I think Andy is living credit to that. He's and even watching you this year, I've kind of felt watching you and all your media stuff. I messaged Jared. Jared didn't even know you were on the footy show. I messaged. I said Andy's on the footy. Jared goes, really? And
I was at work. Probably at work.
No, so I find just to watch you, that's the most important thing. You can tell you're a good person. You treat everyone with respect, which is the most important thing. If you're a kid watching that, follow guys like him because they're very humble as well. Humble is very important. And I know what you're thinking, Jared, right now, and you. It's called marketing. Anyway, go on. Yes.
We've got another question from Lucky. I thought I'd put it in.
Yep.
How have you overcome your biggest challenges and setbacks in life?
I'll probably answer that in a footy perspective. Life's probably a pretty broad term to be talking about, but with footy, I probably didn't come. I guess realise that I could get drafted until my 18th year, so year 12. Before then, I had a lot of doubts. I thought I was too small. Wasn't skillful enough, didn't really have what it takes to make it to the next level, and it just seemed like too big of a jump, from junior football to AFL. But then, as Jared and Chris were talking about, hard work takes over. You have a goal, you have a dream, and if you want to work hard enough to achieve that, anything's possible really. And that's sort of the mindset I had from when I was 15 and decided to pursue football all the way up until now, and I still set goals now, even playing at the top level, but that's probably the doubts that I overcame, and the way I overcame them was just purely through hard work and keeping on dreaming.
Because I remember you played 16s Metro,
yeah,
and you had a good carnival, but people still weren't really talking about you. They were talking about the bigger, the taller guys, and then it was not until, like you said, your 18 year that people started going, oh wow, this kid can play. Like he's good, he's got everything. And I remember one of the first times I saw you, I will claim this, put it on record.
Oh, there we go.
I said to your now managers, Paul, who I met through coaching at East Melbourne, I said, you've got to check out this Andy McGrath kid. I reckon you'll go 1. And 2 years later...
Jared, did you...
You can... I swear what I said.
I think he did.
Yeah.
Did he?
See?
He did.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But yeah, they were the main setbacks for me. I didn't make the All-Australian team, under 16s, under 17s. and they were pretty big setbacks for me at the time. Being a young kid like that, seeing the guys you're playing with who you think you're on par with and they're making things you're not, you just wonder whether you have what it takes. But
can I ask you a question with that? And that's a big one because I get this asked a lot. You are 180 centimetres, correct? Mm-hmm. For anyone who's a smaller player, what advice would you give? Because I've got two kids at the moment who are bottom ages, and they look up to you because you're 180 centimetres. Mm-hmm. What advice can you give them? Because they're not these days. It's going for tall. I know, Jared, you think it's changing.
Yeah, when was the last time a key position player didn't go number one before last year?
A long time ago. Yeah. So what advice can you give them?
We've had McCartan.
What advice could you give to any of those 180 centimetres or below?
Yeah, I think as Jared said, the game's definitely changing. I probably am capable of playing 3, 4, 5 positions on the ground now, which a few years ago that wouldn't have happened. You wouldn't see a 180 centimetre player, I guess, playing in all those roles. The game's a lot quicker now. There's room for smaller players, and I think the motto I've always lived by, my dad always said it, if you're good enough, you're going to make it, regardless of how tall, how small, how slow you are. I think if you have what it takes to be there, you'll find a way to get there.
The old man's a wise man. That's a good statement, though. If you're good enough, you're going to make it. I mean, you hear people, I'm too small, and you're right. I think that's a fantastic mindset. If you are good enough, you always make it. So your dad's very smart, and your mum's got a very strong accent because you are Canadian, aren't you?
Yeah.
Once you came in, I knew straight away. I'm like, that's Andy's mum, isn't it? Straight away. But does your old man has a similar accent, a Canadian accent?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Strong accent.
I have a good question on Instagram right here. What's the difference between the strength and conditioning you do with Christian compared to
with Jared, but under Woodford, yes.
Woodfords,
yes.
Excuse me, compared to what you do with Essendon in the season?
It's very similar. I guess I've been training with Jared since year 11, and a lot of the stuff that I do at Essendon now correlates really well with the stuff that I used to do here. And over the off season, I come here and train alongside Jared and Christian, and we sort of just train together now. A lot of the program that I do, Jared knows exactly what I'm doing. He helps me set it up, and then we work together. So it's really easy to come here and do the exact same stuff that I'm doing at Essendon.
That's where we saw a gap in what we could do is help these kids when they get into the AFL, that they walk into the system and they know what they're doing. They're confident with lifting in the gym. They've had a couple of years of training to build them up, and they go in and they can just hit the ground running instead of being behind.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point he brings up. I think the issue that I found was when I came back from America, which I've told you boys, and Jared, you've seen it now, the collegiate system, they're so good at preparing them for life in the NFL, even though there's only a small amount, at least they know. And we found a gap in the market. Well, I did when I came back, and Jared's helped a lot in terms of bringing the juniors in, where you look at all the boys that we had, they've all moved on and played at least one senior game apart from Corey Lyons, the only one. Yeah. He played most of the season. Andy played most of the season. Scrim played a few. Tim was a star. So what we're trying to say is, I saw the gap in the market. And the biggest thing, I never told you guys this, but how I had the idea was I saw Ty Vickery and Edwards. What was his name for Richmond, the small guy, Edwards, playing the final. Shane Edwards, whatever. Anyway, saw them Fitness First. I said, what are you guys doing here? Back like 8-9 years ago. They said, we got the club program. And I always thought that in America, because I saw DeFranco, I saw Boyle, all the pro athletes go to this private performance in the off season. They've got their own coaches, like you told me, and that's how I kind of had the idea. See, it's great to see all these boys come back. Pierce Waring from soccer, Shandor Earl will come back, Matt Hodgins come back, all these AFL boys come back. We have a lot of pro guys who come back, so it's really good to see because at least it's giving them an outlet and coaches to actually work with in the off season. Next question.
Tim Taranto.
Oh!
Thought you'd like that.
Yeah, go.
I know BGS won the APS flag last year, but did your school lose a game last year? If so,
who to?
I knew that was coming. So we lost one game in 3 years. 1.5 games in 3 years, and it was to Tim's school, St Kevin's in the last game.
1.5 games in 3 years.
What did Tim do in that game? Did he do anything special?
Yeah, he dominated. I always asked the question. He took me to that game.
Yeah.
We played each other for a lot of the game, and he definitely got the better of me.
Just for everyone out there, we're talking about Tim Taranto, who plays with GWS, went pick 2, and Andy's good mates with him. So there's a few kids that come here that've been here for a while. Obviously, Andy's one of them. They're all mates. Tim Taranto's 2, Scrimshaw's 3, Paulson went 51. Jared, 59 or 59? 59 to Carlton, and then Corey Lyons went 79. They're all mates. They all played for Sandy, and Sandy ended up winning the grand final when you guys went through in your top year? How much did you win it by? A fair bit?
I think it was a couple goals in the end, but we never really played that well until the last quarter.
And you meshed. And you won. What happened with you? Best on ground?
Yep, in that game, yeah.
Yep. And you got all Australian then, didn't you? Top end year?
Yep.
Where were you all Australian picked on guts?
Back flank, I think. Played a lot of half back through the carnival.
Awesome. Next question. Very good question, Tim. Good seeing you yesterday as well, Tim. Had his headphones in, didn't even say hello, I wasn't happy. I said, Tim. He said, oh, sorry, Wood. Yeah. Next one.
Alright, cool. Alex Hardie. How hard?
Oh, interesting.
How hard were you training at 16, and what do you think it takes to make AFL?
I was training pretty hard in 16s. I guess you have to. School makes it tough. That's probably the main challenge that I had in, I guess, my under 18s year. But 16s, I was training pretty hard still. I guess I hadn't really came into Woodford yet. I hadn't met Jared, I hadn't met Christian. So I was training more so by myself and just going to the school gym, doing what I had to do at footy training. But at 16s, I was still just enjoying it. Like, I wasn't really taking things too seriously. I think that's a really important point. Don't take yourself too seriously until it really matters. I'm all for balance. Yeah, you gotta have a great balance. I'm all for working really hard when it counts, but if you just surround yourself with footy from that young age, it just makes things really hard. Under 18s is probably the hardest that it gets, and it's just footy, school. There's just so many things going on. So my advice to you is to work as hard as you can when you're your age, but still enjoy your footy, because it can sometimes get sucked out of you a little bit.
Can I add a question to that? How hard was doing, and this I ask with the kids all the time, how hard was doing year 12 and your top age year when you're trying to get drafted?
It is hard. Early days I got really sick, trying to please everyone. I guess worked too hard in footy, worked too hard at school, and yeah, my body just broke down.
That's a lot of effort.
And they got national carnival as well.
Which you did a lot of footy, yeah. Yes.
Why didn't you you knew you were talented at football. Why didn't you just punt school and just go all in football?
I don't, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people do that in their draft year. But I think going to a great school like Brighton Grammar, I always wanted to get a good ATAR and do something outside of football. Like, football was never my one and only focus. I always wanted to have, I guess my plan A was to get the ATAR school that I wanted, and then plan B was always football. It wasn't the other way around, which I think a lot of people have that the wrong way.
Yeah. When did college and athletics go out the door for you?
Probably end of under 16, so the end of year 10. That was probably the pathway I was looking at, and a lot of friends that I used to run with went down that pathway and moved to America and studied and did athletics over there. But at the end of year 10, I decided to go the football path.
He's a very affluent young man going to Brighton Grammar as well. So I think that for any kids out there, my advice is to finish year 12. My mother would kill me if I'd said the other way. She is you got to finish year 12, in my opinion. But everyone's different. But my thing is, I just think you finish year 12, you get a piece of paper. I think Andy's right with what he said. Andy went school first, football second. I think you had that priorities right.
We were just chatting before about university and how you're going back and you're studying part time. I think it's very important that you set yourself up for life in the future. Footy, you never know how long it's going to last. 10 years, 12 years, the average lifespan's probably about 2.5, 3.
3 or 4 now. Yeah.
Brandon Jones from the live right here. Since working with at Woodfords, what are your current strength levels, and how fast did they get you?
It's a hard question to answer.
Let's say he was 400 metre national champion at hurdles before he came in here, so he's always been quick.
He's been quick.
Yeah, he's always been very quick.
First time I met Andy, I'll first remember it 2 years ago. He was jumping over boxes. Like, I remember that I took a photo of you. He'd just jump over, like, so easy. Like, I could never even do. I can't even jump. So watching people jump, like, he's so explosive, fast, with dominant. But then he's got. I mean, what do you run on the beep? I mean, you'd have a good
mid-14.
So he's got a good capacity to run as well. I'm always intrigued by that. I remember he's jumping over boxes. I said to Jared, "Who the hell is this kid?"
When I looked at you and I said, "Hey, I want to be involved in your journey," I was coming across a super talent from day one. Like, all I had to do was just assist him through. Like, all right, we're going to lift, we're going to learn some new movements. He already had all the fundamentals down pat, and his athletic qualities were far beyond most people. So I think it's just all a progression through life. Now you get stronger and stronger as you go, and you just keep making the body robust. And I don't think you've had any serious injuries in the last few years.
No.
Touch wood.
Yeah.
Touch wood.
Yeah,
So-
nothing really yet, which is...
And that's what it's all about. It's about maintaining these young athletes. Maintaining these young athletes throughout their career. It's about long-term athlete development. So we want him doing what he's doing now in 10, 12 years.
I just think that another point you need to make is he's very, very diligent with his preparation. If you watch Andy now, I haven't seen a difference. Like, the great thing about Andy is how Andy you acted before you got drafted is exactly the same. Your prep's exactly the same. Hasn't changed. You know what you're doing. He's a true professional, and that's all. Professionals.
In terms of the question was your strength levels, what testing do you do at Essendon?
As first years, we don't really do much. They try and keep us away from that as much as possible. So I'll start getting into more, I guess, bench press testing, chin up testing, deadlift and squats when we get back. But last year it was mainly maintenance. So throughout the year, I hardly did heavy lifts at all while playing. They're just purely through the week for the young guys, is just to get us through the week and get us prepped for a game. Because we're not used to playing at that intensity for that long, and I guess to be physically active for that period of time, we're more maintenance, whereas the older guys, their bodies are hardened and they can lift a lot more frequently than we can. But yeah, I'll get back to you if I'm back on the show about those strength levels.
Yeah, I think that they've done the right thing there. Especially the kids, you want to monitor their load. I'm not the king of it. Jay, who was in before, is very good at understanding load. You just got, especially with any strength testing, high neural, high muscular loads, taxing on the joints. He's first year player. He will develop, and he will. For you, I've already seen you put on a bit of weight as well, which not too much, because you put on too much, you got to learn to run with it, and you still need. It's a running based game. You got to be able to run. So they've got a good program. I've seen his program. I've had a squiz. It's a good program. Very good at Essendon. So whoever the strength guys are, if you want to shout them out,
There's a few of them. I can't name them all.
They know who they are. So you done a good job. Next question.
All right. This is a client of mine from our junior program, Noah Allison. What leagues did you grow up playing in when you were growing up, and what are your biggest accomplishments you had in that youth?
I played in the SMJFL. I think it's called that now. So I played for East Brighton Vampires. We won back-to-back grand finals in, I think, under 13 and 14 or 14 and 15. So that was massive for me back then. I played at Brighton Grammar all the way through. And we won 3 premierships there, and then I played at the Sandy Dragons, and we won 1 premiership in my top age year.
We won a lot of premierships, man. Lucky.
Yeah, I was pretty lucky. Yeah.
You must have had a good team behind you. How many people out of your year got drafted from Brighton?
I was the only one at Brighton.
Oh, you're the only one?
Yeah.
Sandy?
Sandy, we had 7 or 8.
8.
And then from my old junior team, I think there was 2.
You and
Ollie Hanrahan. I don't know if
who's Ollie Hanrahan?
Plays for Hawthorn. He got rookie drafted at Hawthorn.
Okay, awesome. Good stuff.
Instagram Live, Nick Mason. Biggest piece of advice from up-and-coming 16-year-old starting his TAC Cup journey?
I think just take it all in. There's a lot of ups and downs in TAC Cup. Me as a bottom major, I couldn't get games at the start, and it's very frustrating. But I think if you just stick at it, you keep working at your game behind the scenes, you're always going to have that opportunity. And once you get into the side, it's a great pathway to, I guess, prepare you for AFL.
I've got a question from young Riley Boland, who is
Egg.
He's a great supporter of me. He's a bottom ager. He'd be a top ager in the Stingrays, and a ripper kid. And he told me to ask his question, so I'm going to ask you his question.
Yep.
Because he loves me and he loves you. So here we go. Love you too, mate. He just wrote this to me. So he said, ask you this question. Here we go. My phone could work. Can you ask Andy McGrath what would be his number 1 piece of advice he would give for a bloke going to his top age year at TAC Cup level? Thanks, legend. Told you I'd think of one. That's exactly what he's giving me. Egg. Shout out to Egg. There we go. What do you think?
Stop squatting with the safety pad.
Yeah, actually, stop squatting with the safety. That's true.
I think just believing yourself is the main one. I always had that belief that I could be in the top couple players in the draft, even when I was probably, I guess, 40 or 50 picks off that. And I was probably the only one who thought that. Not even, I think my parents would have thought I could go that high, but I think always having that belief behind you, no matter how far off you are, there's always ways you can get to where you want to be. And I think that's just the main advice and the main thing that I went off last year.
The main theme I'm getting from what you're saying from a lot of these questions is really you've got to have self-belief in yourself, and that work, talent can only get you so far, but there's the work ethic day in, day out, which I've seen for you from 3 and a bit years. How long have you been here for, Jared?
This will be his third.
3rd year. So for 3 years, I've seen you work tirelessly, day in, day out. But the biggest thing that I want to push across there when I'm watching, it starts from 15, 16. It's got to even start early, in my opinion, but you've got to be starting to do some sort of prep at that age and proper prep. You've got to get in, and he's living proof.
Even going on that, like, and has obviously developed a good friendship, and he knew within himself about how to balance. Like, he'd message me on one day and said, we had a hard session last night, Jared, I'm not going to come in, I'm just going to have a rest day. So he knew when to push himself and when to hold back a little bit, which I think is very important. Like, you see some kids who are just so determined that they come in and they're just always here and they'll burn out a little bit. And we don't want that. You have to know within yourself when it's time to go and when it's time to hold back a little bit. Know your own body.
Yeah,
very wise.
Important point. Yeah.
Good point, Jared. Jesus, should I bring you back on the show, Jared? Last time I brought him
the show.
Last time I brought him on the show, he took the whole show over. My mum watched it. She goes, "Jared was really good, Christian."
I should co-host.
Yeah, there we go. I might bring you back on a few
times. That's a question on Instagram. Should I co-host?
I know Galaxy will put this up now. Yeah, put it up. You know what? How about that? We'll put this up. Should Jared co-host? If it gets over 50%, or if it gets 51, I'll let Jared co-host. How about that one? You want to try it?
I'm happy to.
All right, fine, you're in, Jared. Good luck. Jared, don't get everyone to vote yes, because I know what you're going to do.
Another Instagram comment, JBald1. What is a key quality you think helps push you forward and pursue your dreams?
That's a good question. I guess for me now, I'm not going to list all my goals that I have for, I guess, my career, but what pushes me forward is just getting the best out of myself. I know, I guess for me, success isn't really measured on what you achieve. It's, I guess, how successful you can be in your own eyes. So I feel like every day you get better, and there's no finish line. That's probably how I look at it. You just want to keep improving, and then when you get to that point or that goal that you reach, you just want to keep going again. So I guess my goal for this year was to be in the top couple in the Rising Star, and I guess I ended up winning that. Luckily, I probably didn't deserve it in my eyes.
What about Pepper Powell? Wasn't he close? Was he second?
I think
he had a good start.
Yeah, but probably should have won it in my eyes. But
they have to. Yeah, I thought it was. You could have thrown a towel over a few of you and you won it, but
yeah,
mate, you won it. So let's take it. Let's take it.
Mm-hmm. But now my goals, I guess, move to something more, and you just always have to keep improving on what your last achievement was, and never really be happy with where you're at, is how I look at things.
How old are you?
19.
That's
wise man.
Man, that answer, I just connect with it, man. Like, I just think what you said is just, you want to get better every day. How many 19-year-olds would say that? You can start to see why he went so high. He's how he communicates, and he's probably 19 going on about 25, 26. Alex, I think you know a little bit about that as well. But the way you communicate, I think it's fantastic what you said. That if I'm getting one thing out of this interview, like I'm getting a lot out of this, is just regardless of whatever career you're in, it comes down to really passion, determination. Talent's important, yes, we all know that. But at the same time, just the amount of work ethic you've had to put in to get this stage. And in all honesty, I relate to how you just said every day get better. And it's just, you don't have a line. You just got to, every day you got to keep getting better, regardless of what it is. So I think a lot of people who watch my podcast, and maybe Jared's podcast now after this, can relate to that. Any more questions?
Yes, we do.
Oh God.
Sam Pirola.
Oh, Sammy Pirola. Hello, Sam. He mentioned me twice to do this, but yeah.
What extra things did Andy do in the off seasons to get ahead of the pack in his junior years?
What did I do? I guess when I was younger, I did a lot of athletics, and that really helped my footy. Even when I stopped athletics, I still did school athletics, and a lot of my running that I do away from Dragons and I guess work that I'm doing here was kind of athletic-based running. I found that really sharpened my speed first and foremost, and then also my aerobic capacity and I guess ability to handle lactic acid, which is pretty important in
repeat efforts. For repeat efforts. Yeah, I heard you're a good gut runner, so there you go.
Yeah, and that's probably the extra things I did. I'd always do I guess extra core at home. That's probably something that I did that not many people know about. But they're probably the main two that I did that other people probably weren't doing while they were, I guess, playing cricket and hanging out with their friends a lot of the summer. I'd be doing that.
Quick question. This is interesting, this one, but how much of a temptation is it top age year when everyone's turning 18 and obviously alcohol and parties. How hard was it? Like, obviously you got to enjoy. Exactly, you got to balance. I always wanted to know from your point of view. Did you go to those parties? Did you know what I mean? Like, what? How did you find it? How did you deal with all that?
Yeah, it was hard.
Because schoolies, you wouldn't have gone to schoolies.
No, I didn't go to schoolies. It was a hard year. Like everyone's having 18s every weekend, and you've got footy most of those weekends. So a lot of the times it's either you go to a certain time, don't drink, go home, play footy the next day. Or if there is a weekend, you'll have a few drinks with your friends. Like, I had an 18th and I got pretty drunk at that party and got drunk at my formal, but they're probably the two occasions, I guess, until school finished that I could let my hair down a little bit.
You just enjoy it, man. You know, you're a young kid, you know. It's always interesting to see young kids get drafted. What people don't understand is you sacrifice a fair bit. People always, and this annoys me about the media, I like the media, I understand, but the general public don't understand the work you guys have to do and what you have to sacrifice. Like for me, schoolies, and you went to schoolies. Did you go to schoolies? That was a great time. That was like, you know what I mean? He missed it. So people need to understand the general public. You know, you're a person too. I think people get too caught up on pro athletes and in general thinking they have to be perfect every step. They're just people like you and I. Unless you're a robot, Andy, I don't know. But
and I think general perception is AFL players, they live this luxurious lifestyle. They play footy and they get all this time off. It's not really time off, it's full time.
Mate, you're full time.
You get a couple of weeks off, but then they're back in the gym doing their programs that the club's giving them, or they've got skin folds they have to meet, or they've got weight goals that they have to meet, expectations. So it's a full-time job year round.
Well, your full-time job's keeping your body right. That's your job, really, isn't it? You've got to keep your body right, and I think the general public perception is, you know, everything's easy, but being a pro athlete, you know, if you talk to the right people who've been around long, and we had Chandor on this show, he'd tell you how hard it is on the body, on the mind as well. We're going to go one more question for the great man.
That's the 10 right there.
That's the 10 questions. 10 questions.
You can wrap it up how you want.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to say before we finish? Because if you are on the show again, we're going to put this poll up. It'll be interesting to see if you do get up.
Yeah, co-host. Yeah, definitely.
Well,
I just suggest a general message out for any young footballers in the area. We've got a gym in Moorabbin and a gym in Dandenong.
Yep.
If you are looking to complement your game, get in contact with us here. Like we want to be a part of your journey. We want to be a part of your team and help you get to where you want to be in the future. It's been great. Last year we had 5. This year we'll probably have 2 or 3 boys get drafted.
The year after?
Year after we've got the King boys who are very, very talented. Probably one-of-a-kind athletes like your Joe Danaher type, would you say?
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully, you never know.
We've got young boys feeding all the way through and they did come down early, which was great. And it's just an eventual process all the way through.
We start from ages... Alex, you take them at the moment?
Yeah, pretty much a new junior membership program starts at like 8.
So if you're an 8-year-old and you want to come in, you're a parent of a young junior athlete, start them now, start them body weight, come down, see our junior program. If they're a bit older, come talk to Jared or one of other members of the team who can athlete development your child, regardless of sport, any level, any age. Is there anything you want to finish off, tell anyone, your fans out there, any Essendon fans, anything out there?
I guess if anyone else has any more questions, shoot them through Jared and Christian. I'll be in for the next few weeks and I'm always in contact with them, so yeah, let us know.
I just want to end in closing that I think it's fantastic to see all you guys come back. I respect the hell out of you. I love it when you guys are here. You're such a good kid. Like all our kids, if they were assholes, you know how I am with people. I tell them piss off. But Andy's such a good kid. Tim, Scrim, they're all good kids, and it's fantastic to have them back. And the great thing is the rest of the career to watch them develop. Andy signed a jumper. I'm getting Tim to sign us one, so we're going to have it all around the gym. It's fantastic to see them. They'll be back every off season, training under Jared and Woodford. It's fantastic to see, and hopefully I'll see Andy's career. And I've watched all your media, by the way, even though Jared won't, but I'll watch it. I watch all Andy's media. I watch all the other boys' media when I see it. I'm so proud of them to watch it because we've seen them since I was 16, so it's fantastic to see their journey. Thanks, guys, for following Ask Woodford, and I'll see you guys next week on episode 21 of Ask Woodford, and maybe with Jared Kay.
Might see you there.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.